He's on our planning commission. They've done an excellent job, looking at the
But that Mill Creek Drive, we were designated in Grays Harbor as affected by the rains, and we have a federal FEMA designation. And, we'll speak to the council maybe later on also. But, what are your thoughts around putting that under the FEMA, request this year?
Well, we could request it, but the fact is they may not fund it, and this is something that needs to be rectified immediately.
Yeah.
So one strategy would be to pursue multiple funding agencies for this,
Sure.
but it has to be the top priority of whatever we do. So wherever we find the money, great, but if and I know our budget is limited, we have to have matching funds. But whatever that is, that's where the first stack of money has to go.
Right.
But yes, it would be ideal if FEMA would do it, but we don't know that they will.
So, again, on that same, Mill Creek Drive there, we see the crack in the road, fissure, crack, whatever you wanna call it, and it is crossing. We understand that that is slowly sloughing, but we haven't taken any measurements to say how long it's been, a half an inch, when it started to this point in time. Is it continuing to move? I thought the same as you as far as the FEMA. And again, I kind of wonder if we would be grasping to be able to get them to think that that had something to do with flooding problems. I think it's an underground problem in that area, that culvert. And
Well, and I agree, it is a hydraulic issue.
yeah,
You know, Dr. Borton is correct in that, and it
Yeah.
is obviously, it has been and continues to be a hydraulic problem.
right.
And whether or not, you know, we don't have a staff engineer,
Mhm.
so we don't have any real way of determining or keeping track of it, but they do.
Yes,
And so if we put it on the list, you know, they may come
Yeah.
back and say,
Yeah.
no, thank you.
we've identified, or you have identified it as a critical and the number one spot.
Yes.
I would hate to say that we'd have to put a barrier across and close the road at this point in time.
That's
Is it
probably
that far?
premature, given the size of the fissure, but it's going to get worse. And it does need to be monitored until it does get repaired
Mhm.
or replaced, actually, not repaired. And
Yeah.
It'll be dug out and redone.
Yeah, an example is the one that just here in the last few months happened up the Satsop, on the
Yes.
middle Satsop Road. And driving it often, we seen a little bit of sag in the road, and then a week later, a crack in half an inch wide, and a week later, it had dropped 5, 6 inches. It was really important that it was going down and they had to close the road. That up there, we don't know how long it's been in that position.
But
You
you're
guys
right,
just
we need to
identified.
monitor it.
We should, have some way of measuring where it's at now and saying, yep, a month from now, it's getting bigger. The drier the season gets, the longer it would be before there would be a continuation of a problem. If it is just runoff water, usually, understood. I'm just concerned that we're talking it's critical, and my lord, somebody could die because it would cave in, then we better close it. Are we at that point? You're not telling me we're at that point.
No, you'd have to have a hydrologist out there to do all these finite measurements that we
Right.
don't have capacity to
Right.
do ourselves.
Right.
We can eyeball it in the meantime.
Yes.
Until that happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, because before it was repaired, it was a dip where and that was because
Sure.
the culvert underneath the road had collapsed, so that's where the dip came, and then they repaired it, and then now we're getting an actual, where it's actually the hillside,
So,
and we're getting, the sliding.
all you
of
did
it.
is move the water somewhere else.
Yeah, and, What- really what you're trying, what probably needs to be done is that there needs to be like a wall at the end, where the comes out then there, to be able to keep the hillside, from sliding is, and that's just, you're talking a lot of money. Yeah, this
Well-
was a quick fix that they did because the top alder was also sagging. There was the two of them sagging. And it was me that caused them to fix it, but I did a whole presentation and it was to show that where the cracks were starting and the whole road was sliding basically from the top. And then if that was to actually all fall, it would take the people, June specifically, lays right in the path of it, but all of our houses would be affected by that. situation of that whole hillside was to give, starting at Alder
Mhm.
to Mill Creek. But if you drive up Mill Creek, that crack, as you go up to where the turnoff is, there's more significant, there's other cracks that are also going. So it's basically the whole of Mill Creek, that whole hillside is a potential of, I don't know if it's a way of channeling the water in a different way, because I know
That's what-
when it comes off Holly, there is no culvert for the water to go down the side of the road. And I brought this up before, is it needs to be dug out because the water just comes down Holly and it just comes down the road. There is no real,
It's very flawed.
there's no
design.
channel for it to actually be going, and water needs to be channeled somewhere.
Yeah.
You know?
It'll make its own.
Yeah, it makes its own, it will make its own, and when it finds a crack, that's where it goes, and it will just continue to erode in there, and, yeah.
And
saturate.
unfortunately, when that type of work was done previously and in many areas of the city, the staffing for an engineer
Right,
or
yeah.
doing any of that hydraulic investigation or that type of work, those individuals weren't brought in.
Well, right, and I had
And so
actually,
now,
yeah.
right,
cause I had actually even called the, ecology, Department of Ecology, about it, to see if there was somebody who could, or if they had been out here, because, I was told that they had been out here before, but it was like 20 years ago or something like that. That they had looked at it, but that was when they were looking at the dam. So when they were out here looking at the dam, it was kind of like they just looked at the surrounding area around the dam and then said, yeah, there is, some areas that are near the dam because of the water flowing that, could be potential hazards later, but they didn't actually come out and do an analysis of the whole area. Is the information that I had gotten.
right. I sat in a very extensive workshop on different funding and working with our senators and that. And so I spoke with Dr. Borden, and we are gonna be reaching out about the project. And, I've had conversations about FEMA, there wasn't, but then there's more information, so I couldn't even speak to that,
Yeah.
really at
Oh,
the
yeah.
time. But I think there are some opportunities right now. It's not gonna be a quick fix, it's in this next cycle of funding that
Is
we
it
just have to be
possible
prepared for it.
Is it possible to contact the state's Department of Transportation and see if they can get a civil engineer, or hydrologist out?
I think absolutely,
I'll make a note.
yes.
Yeah.
Preemptively, there used to be weight restrictions on that road. You couldn't
Yeah.
drive transit or even a UPS truck wasn't allowed up the road.
Right.
Yeah, there was a sign,
Those
yeah.
kind of disappeared.
Yeah, they've
We
disappeared.
should probably do that again.
Yeah, and I had
Well, and the
also,
council you should bring that to the council,
Mhm.
because I think that would be a wise decision moving forward.
yeah, well, and I had also brought up, about one of my part of my presentation that I had given was the amount of times that, Grace Harbor Transit, cause their loop is to go up, out now, and then they go around and they come down Alder Drive, right past my house, Alder Drive. So I had actually there was 142 times a week that bus goes around and does that loop on Alder and hits that corner every time. And I had asked if there was a way, because obviously there's usually 99% of the time, there's nobody on the bus.
Yeah.
So if there was a way to be able to downgrade the amount of times that the transit is actually doing their route through here, or at the very least, doing the route at the top of the hill.
Reroute them.
Rerouting it to where they're not having to do Alder. That they kind of go up and maybe loop around. I think we had thought about maybe going around through Paisley Creek, doing a loop and then coming back down out now. And just avoiding, because there's a bus stop right there where Stanford is.
And I sat on the transportation board, so I can have that conversation.
It might be something with COG that we could talk to, with
Yes.
the head of Grace Harbor Transit. Because if he could even just downsize the amount or downgrade how many times those buses are driving on that and pounding it, is at least a little bit help, the amount of weight that's going on that hill.
Another consideration is, to see if they'll reroute this lower, area where, there are certain streets that are in better shape than
Right.
Fourth Street and reroute them to
Right.
that other street.
Yeah.
And,
So we're having
that's
Yeah.
one tear.
a,
Yeah.
with one of the commissioners tomorrow and Mayor Orr and I, the Executive Transportation Board. I will bring this up and ask for a meeting to discuss some of these routes and that route. I think that's wise.
Yeah, cause the school buses do too, but for them, it's very limited. It's only a couple in the morning and a couple in the afternoon, and it's none during the summer, so it's not as impactful as the Grays Harbor Transit one is, yeah. And I'd hate for like the school bus even to, have a problem, but yeah. It's there, yeah.
And, a question, is Corbin still a private drive? Or is it annexed in and which is now a city street?
So there's a file like this that is on my desk because there was a lot of conversations, this. So I'm doing a lot of research into it. As you know, we just did an extensive cold patch on that and we'll be continuing to keep that. Keep it in better condition than what it is, because it was pretty bad. The ruts and holes in it were pretty bad.
There
before we
really
did the
isn't an
patch.
answer to that.
There isn't, and unfortunately, because prior to me even taking office, I had heard a comment, well, we don't want to annex them in because then we have to maintain the road. So there's been a lot, the file is like this. As I said, it's my bedtime reading material, so. And when I get a concrete answer, I will share it with council.
Just in general knowledge, when they redid Short Lane, at that same time, the people on Corbin wanted it brought up to standard, and the deal was that the street had to be brought up to standard first, and then the city would maintain it. But there was also ownership issues and things like that. It was a discussion back then, and I don't know whatever happened, but on a second note, transit, heavy trucks do a lot of damage to the streets, and if anybody's out driving around, if you look at the transit stop up by Grays Harbor Hospital when you're coming down the hill, take a look at how much damage to the street that one is.
Yes.
And on Simpson Avenue also,
Yes.
about a block from Lush Schwab.
Yep.
It's amazing how bad those
Yeah.
streets are. So Cosmopolis is the only
No,
city having a problem.
No. And I have found that Grays Harbor Transit will work really easy with you to move bus stops from one end to the other or take a Nifford Street. They set them up a long time ago and said this was the main traffic area, brought people equally from one side to the other to hit that fourth street. They wouldn't have a problem, I don't think, moving it on Third or Fifth, whichever they would be able to.
The other thing is the designations for heavy hauling and things on I Street and see. Street past the post office, G Street.
G Street.
Those two were intentionally built heavier to be able to allow for heavier traffic.
Right.
and I did, in our regular transportation board meeting this week, they were talking about improvements that they were looking at for bus stops, and so I will also bring that one up on Franklin to their attention, so possibly we can get that addressed. Could you note that one, the one on Franklin, please? Okay, any other comments or questions from anyone other than council in the audience regarding? Okay. We have about 4 minutes before we move into our council meeting, if anyone needs a break or.
And I, along with Councilman Davis, thank you for you guys going out and identifying and putting this together. It's a big job and I'm sure there's people that think that their driveway or sidewalk is worse than others, and I'm glad you guys went out and were able to identify it.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's good.
I have to say, the planning commission, we, working together, have really been moving forward, regular meetings, topics, that really, addressing issues. The comprehensive plan has been adopted, it's a living document now to be updated, and it's kind of exciting to see that happening. The committee is moving forward. And again, thank you.
Certainly, thank you.
I'll give Chief Coker report. Yeah.
I'd like to stand, and Commander Timmons, could you lead us in the flag salute, please?
I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I'm gonna call the meeting to order. This is Mayor Springer. It's Wednesday, May 20th, 7 o'clock. I now call the meeting to order. Clerk Vineyard, will you take, how many citizens do we have online tonight?
We have Councilmember Jeremy Nguyen, and then we also have 3 attendees in the audience online.
Okay, is, City Attorney Coker online?
Chris Coker has not signed in yet. I'll let you know when we see him pop up.
Okay, but I know you're planning on that. Okay, will you please do roll call?
Roll call. Councilmember Skinner,
Present.
Councilmember Nguyen,
Present.
Councilmember Spargo,
He did say that he may be a little late.
okay, Councilmember Davis,
Here.
Councilmember Darcy.
Here.
So we'll move on. I think that we can expect Justin, we'll give him a little time. So we'll move on to approval of agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda for tonight's meeting?
I'd like to make an addition to the agenda. I'd like to add a Mill Creek Drive FEMA application to the agenda.
For discussion,
Not for action,
for action.
discussion and action.
Okay.
Do you have that to present tonight?
The physical application, you do it online, so I don't have the physical application.
All right,
I vote, or I make motion to accept the agenda as amended.
Second?
any discussion? All those in favor of approving the. Oh, I'm sorry.
Councilman Nguyen,
Just unmuting to vote.
Okay, thank you. All those in favor of approving the agenda, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion to approve agenda. Forward. Okay, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second, Council Darcy seconds.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Coker's now online.
Great, thank you. Okay, consent agenda. Approved and moved, okay. Council comments at this time. Council members, are there any comments at this time?
I just think, no, I don't have any, no.
Okay,
Good.
Jeremy, any comments?
None, thank you.
Hearing no other comments, we're gonna move on to committee reports. Auditing and Finance Committee.
Yes, we had a meeting earlier this week. We are, let's see, we had just discussed about the hiring of some public works employees that will be going throughout the year. We have it's going to be 2 full-time, these are seasonal workers. And then we have 2 part-time seasonals, which have already started. If you drive down Second Street, I forget which one of the seasonal, is it Jason?
No,
Jason,
again,
Again, that's right, yeah, has already started doing the weeding of the islands on Second Street. If you drive down, you'll notice he's made good progress. They're looking really good. He's been weeding, and so he's only one day a week.
no, he's 5 days a
Oh,
week.
he'll be 5, okay, so there is another one that will be 1 day a week and also coming in, and then we have. A full-time seasonal person that will be working throughout the summer and working with Donnie, and so they will. Be moving full throttle on getting. a lot of the mowing, Mill Creek, the stairs, I mean, just they have a long list of projects that they are looking to start working on throughout the summer, taking full advantage of the nice weather, so you all should be seeing a lot of progress throughout the summer as far as trees and the bushes and everything getting trimmed and just, getting a real handle on it before winter sets back in. And so, that was part of the discussion. We are also looking at and actually treasurer, Jamie will be enhancing on this conversation, but we are looking at a collection agency. She has come across some past due monies that go all the way back to like 2020, 2019 that were outstanding, and she clicked on a button and all of a sudden these appeared. And so she'll elaborate a little more on that in her report, but it isn't anything that will be a collection agency. I don't know if any of you are familiar with them, but some may be, but on the wrong end. On our end, they don't cost us anything. They end up just taking a percentage of what it is that they actually get collections from. So, and we're also kind of looking at our IT system. Right now, it's just in conversation and looking at getting some bids and consolidating and being more streamlined in our processes that we have as far as the internet and the phones and with the fire station and just everything. Some things are a bit outdated, and so that's just right now in conversation form, looking at streamlining so that we can also get our website. Needs a lot of work updating it and having it look more like it should and having the information that it should have on there. And so that's kind of what was discussed in the finance department there. Yeah, it's kind of more of looking at what the problems we have and then putting out bids to have people come in and see how it is that they can help us streamline our processes that we have going on in there. And so that's it for the finance.
All right, Jeremy, would you like to speak to parks, please?
Hi, I don't know that I have a lot of updates on parks since our last meeting. We've been reviewing the comprehensive parks plan, and we met and reviewed how we can update that document. Really looked at some workflow things really briefly about how we can collaborate on making revisions to that. And then we had a visit from Mayor Springer. Perhaps you can refresh my memory on the names of the gentlemen and what agency they were representing.
It's a conservation district and it's first names, Jason and Chase. And so.
Yeah, thank you. And so, we had a couple of representatives from the Conservation District come to our meeting, and we talked for quite a while about how they could support the work that we're trying to do in parks. We talked a bit about some design considerations with Makarenko Parks Community Garden and the work that we're doing there to restore that garden, and resources that they could provide and some guidance they could give us on how to make sure we do things the right way, a sustainable way, that the city can continue to support moving forward. Let's see, Mayor, is there anything that you want to add to that?
I will add that I got a call from RCO, Recreation Conservation, that there is a grant out there. There's no in-kind match of any kind. All I have to do is apply. I'm in the process of working on it. They will, once the committee pulls the comprehensive park plan together, we give them the information and they do it for us. I guess it's really would be very beneficial to the city. So we are looking into that. And then Chase and Jason are also very excited about the community garden. If you haven't been up to the community garden, if you go up there, it's not locked up. It is cleaned up. all the old beds, all the old garbage, trash, things that were in there has all been removed. We were supposed to have the goats up there. There've been some issues. A person who runs the goat rescue haven, she was headbutted by one of her goats and had quite a concussion. So she's had to put that off. But Jason and Chase are working on a grant to help fund the new beds and a greenhouse and everything else. And lots of comments about the garden, that it feels very obscure in the past, and so that won't be the case. We want to, I'm looking for a donation from some businesses to have a really nice open gate, but yet one that will lock, so people can see what is happening and want to be involved. And the idea is so we can help supplement our citizens here in this community, and also people can grow their own vegetables. Anything, Jeremy, that I left off?
Yeah, thank you. That jumps my memory a lot too. It's been a long time since we had this meeting. Yeah, we did discuss the grant from RCO, is that right? For the and essentially what we decided is we know we have a lot of corrections to make on the comprehensive plan, and so we're just going to try and get the corrections that we know need to happen before we submit that plan to them, so that we're making the best use possible of that grant. And I'd also shared about several local businesses and other organizations that expressed interest in supporting us in our parks. The college is always interested in what we're doing. Some other local businesses have expressed interest in donating plants and other materials. So I think it was a very positive meeting. We see a lot of opportunities and a lot of interest in supporting our work. Thank you.
Thank you. Public safety.
Steve, you want to?
Sure, again, we met last night, public safety, Chief Green was there along with the safety committee, the group from Cosmopolis Citizens That Care, is that correct?
Cosmopolis, yeah.
Okay, they came and showed signs, talked about placement of the signs. And really the main gist of that was reporting, getting people to report when there is an issue and how to report. Don't post it on Facebook or call your neighbor and complain, but actually make a call to the non-emergency number. They're working on another side of their Facebook page where they could take some reports on mundane things. But again, if you see something suspicious, please report it. That was the biggest issue. Unfortunately, Chief Coker wasn't there, but he does have a report tonight. And that was pretty much the gist of the meeting.
Interesting. Moving on to clerk treasurer. Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Well, you kind of touched on it. You
Yeah,
wanna
well,
go in
yeah,
a
I just
little more?
wanted to, elaborate a little more on, so Chris is the seasonal full-time and he is working now. So he is working closely with Donnie and he's actually putting together, cause he has a little more computer, I don't wanna say skills, but a little more, feels more comfortable doing it. So he has worked out and a whole where they have a calendar and they're marking down everything that they need to do. They have their tasks, daily tasks, and that goes along daily, weekly, monthly, and then that way they're able to streamline and keep track of what it is they're doing, or if they didn't get something done. So it's definitely streamlining their work day and moving forward with that so they can keep track of anything that comes up, or they aren't able to get to it, they make a note of it, and then that way it can get handled the next day and all that. So that's working really well to help streamline their day and their scheduling and everything with that. And then, like I said earlier, we're looking and we have, this has all gone forward with Tara too, as far as confirming that the wages and all of that are all good, because being seasonal, we're not having to do the, benefits package and all that kind of thing. So it is an affordable deal, and because it is seasonal, it's only gonna run through the summer and then trickle down into that, into the winter to be a smaller schedule in there. And then the banners have started to get put up. It has been somewhat of a windy week, but they are managing to get them up without blowing away. And then, like I said, they're getting their to-do list to be beginning chartered or charted and scheduled, cause there's a lot, and all of that is part of like painting will be getting done too, sidewalks. We have yellow striping that needs to be done, the bus stop or the parking lot down at the, entrance to town, all needs to be, the parking spaces all need to be new stripes down and everything. So there's a lot that they have on their list to do. So you'll see them around and, wave at them, introduce yourself, cause they'll be around all summer.
That's exciting. Yeah, thank you. Moving on to clerk treasurer, Jamie.
All right, good evening, council and citizens. The end of April, Mayor Springer and I and Councilmember Davis, we attended a training through AWC. It was hosted by Elma, and it was the Small City Connector. So that's always a good opportunity for us to kind of get out there and engage with our local, our other mayors and our other clerks, and really, talk about things that are happening, get updates on the city, solutions, to common issues that we all share. So that was a really good opportunity. And in that training, we also, got to go over good reminders on our agenda housekeeping and minute note taking. So that was really beneficial for us to be there. I will move into the contract that Councilmember Darcy brought to your attention. We have recently discovered that in our accounting system, there is the ability to deactivate a utility account. And this is generally only used when a property is sold, the account's closed, so on and so forth. And there seems to be a handful of accounts that are going to require more research, but they have been deactivated with outstanding balances owed to the city. My first glance and review of this report estimates about $9,000. It's not huge, but it's owed. And so on the advice of our city attorney, who does not handle utility collections, we reached out and started doing some research. We got some information from a collection agency, well, several of them actually. And so we're going to be moving forward with a collection agency to help us kind of go through the process of recouping any and all funds of those past utility accounts that we can get resolved. Other than that, just a couple announcements for City Hall we wanted to share. We will be closed tomorrow at City Hall until 1 o'clock for some inside staff training. We also have some seats open for the upcoming CPR class with the Causey Volunteer Fire. The classes are free, no charge. So if you, if you can or you want to, please join us. It's at 10 o'clock on Wednesday, the 27th. There is a $25 certification fee if you choose to actually get the card. But if you want to just come and learn new skills and, help somebody save a life potentially, come join us for some CPR. We all know Memorial Day is this weekend. Thank you to all the servicemen and women in our community and outward. We hope everybody has a safe and enjoyable Memorial Day weekend. Office is closed Monday, the 25th for observation of Memorial Day weekend. And that's what I got for tonight.
Okay, thank you. Commander Timmons, would you like to give your report?
Thanks. Call wise, just a comparison. It's been pretty consistent throughout the year. These last 2 months have been about the same as the first 2 months. We're not really seeing an increase or a decrease. Our volunteers, I'm sure you still see them out. They put in over 220 hours this past month. Just in April alone, which it's within Aberdeen and Cosmopolis. And so it's between the two cities. So they're very active. And Chief Green did give a conditional. We had one vacant police position open and he gave a conditional. So we're in the background phase for that, which takes a couple months, but at least we'll be fully staffed, hopefully, if she makes it through, which I don't anticipate any problems. So well, yeah.
All right, thank you. At this time, Councilman Skinner will do Chief Coker's report.
City Council Report 5/20/26. Calls for service. Cosmopolis Fire Department had a total of 118 calls for service in 2026. Since his last report, Fire has had 27 calls for service. Below is a breakdown of the calls per type, and you've got your agenda or your sheets out there. I'm not good with acronyms. I don't know what all these break down to, the 11, 4, 6, 1, 3, 2, for a total of 27. So, yep, they match up, the numbers work. CPR class, Clerk Vineyard went through this already, so I will skip that part. ETM or EMT Fire Academy, EMT and Fire Academy have come to an end. I want to congratulate all the members that dedicated all their time and effort and sacrifice to receive the training to better the department and the community. These were a rigorous 4 to 5 months of long hours during the week and weekend, time away from family and friends. Their dedication to bettering themselves in training is extraordinary, and I can't wait to see them grow with the skills they have learned. All candidates have passed the state and national testing to receive their licensure. Again, huge congratulations to all 4 candidates in this huge accomplishment. Then we move into wildland precautions. Warm weather is here in Grace Harbor and the city of Cosmopolis. With that in mind, during the summertime, please refer to the city ordinance, chapter 9-120, outdoor burning, referenced at the end of this report, and be on the lookout for burn bans going into effect as weather moves forward. Do you want me to read the ordinance? Do you want me
I think
to?
ordinance number would be good.
That was it. That was with chapter 9-120, outdoor burning.
And it is attached.
It is attached. Everyone can have a copy of it here, or they can call City Hall and get a copy of this. Recreational fires, burn ban authorization, violation, no, we won't go into it. And respectively, Jacob Coker, Fire Chief. That's his report.
Thank you, Councilman Skinner. So to the mayor's report, I cannot believe we're almost at the end of May, that this year is almost halfway over. One of the pleasures that I have had as a mayor the last 2 years is going to the mayor's prayer breakfast at the Log Pavilion. It's always in May, and it was an honor to go. Janelle Martin, who lives here in Cosmopolis, she is a pastor with Kai Martin. She prayed over the city of Cosmopolis. And as I said, I attend a lot of meetings, but this was something just to really enjoy and be together as a group of people who love and care about Grace Harbor as a whole, and pray for the best and the best outcome for all of us. So moving forward, we do have an opening on our planning commission. We've had a couple applications at this time. This will be closing at the end of May. You can go to news and events under our website or come into the city hall and pick up an application for that. I think I showed this at the last meeting but it's exciting news. We did get a $30,000 grant for Lions Park for new play equipment. And so we are going to start moving forward, removing the old climbing toy. Mr. Skinner is one of the volunteers that has offered to do that. And so that is going to be removed the first week of June. We got 30,000. Equipment is very expensive, so to save cost, we're gonna remove it and make sure the site is prepped, and then they will install. It's very similar to what we've had. The ages are 2 to 5, which that's what that equipment was. So it'll be really nice to have a really functional, safe piece of equipment for the kids down there. And anyone who, if you thank the Community Foundation, they're very generous to students, scholarships, and projects here in Grace Harbor. So I also at this time, as I'm thinking about the parks, and Council Member Darcy really spoke to, it's exciting to finally be to a point this year that we can actually hire help. We have been working lean as can be. And we truly couldn't have got to this point without our community volunteers. And so I get a little choked up because we're a small community, but we have a lot of pride and people care about one another. And that pride comes from people taking care of one another. There are differences. There are people that don't agree, but they're a small fraction. Overall, 23 years here in the community. And I'm still, as I said, considered a newcomer. But there's a lot of pride and I love this community. And it warms my heart to see the people that come out and make a difference on their own dime, their own time, and they do it day in, day out. The last 2 years, I couldn't have done it. I'm gonna give a special thank you to my husband, who pocketbook and a lot of hours here in the city. And also, at this time, I'd like to recognize Brian Allen for your work in the parks. Gus and Miss Gus Nelson and Brian Allen mow and maintain Highland Park, along with another good group of volunteers up there. Kim Skinner, Councilman Skinner, has taken on mowing Mill Creek. That's a pretty big project, and he's been doing that for the last few months. I couldn't find anyone that really wanted to do that, and so he did that. So I really appreciate it. Denise and Bill Newman, they take care of Olympic Terrace and they mow that. The Lions Club, they're such an amazing service club. And I said, I really need that park mowed and I don't have the people. And so they actually went out and they bought a new lawnmower and so they mow that park. I know I could probably go on forever, but these key people, Marty Schumacher, before I became mayor, I wrote a grant to start a flower program here in Cosmopolis. I can't do that. I don't have the time to do that. She picked it up with the Cosy pedal pusher team and has continued to get donations, grant, and as you can see, they planted the flowers this week. And if you're looking to volunteer, they need people to help water pots. Mr. Allen, I know you have 3 pots, so yeah, if you enjoy our First Street shining and you want to be a volunteer, I would encourage you to reach out. And so moving forward, just a reminder that our citywide garage sale is coming up June 13th, 14th. It's a Saturday and Sunday. I've had a few people say, what about Friday? This is not a city sponsored garage sale. It's a community garage sale. And you know that I am sending out a community letter from the mayor. I try to highlight everything that happens in this community, not just what's happening at City Hall. My focus is about the community. And so this is a community garage sale. And we do have a citizen that is pulling together a map. And so with that said, if you go to the Facebook page, Cosmopolis 98527, there'll be 37, thank you. There will be more information on that. Another exciting thing that's planning, a lot of you may have heard about the Washington State 250th, America's 250th celebration. We have started a event committee. I'm welcoming council, citizens, anyone that wants to be involved in it. We have a pretty good outline plan for that day. It's going to be a pretty exciting day. The Lions Club has agreed to start our day out that morning. I don't know about the activities. More information will be coming out. I think we have a car club that's going to do a drive-in down there at the club. It's not confirmed yet. Nothing's concrete yet. We are having it though. And so we're going to move on from Lions Club downhill to City Hall. Well, we may have a state representative. We've requested that. It was one of the things in the information that came out. We'll have a video celebrating Washington State's America's 250th celebration. We'll have some pictures with what is that? Uncle Sam.
Yeah, I suppose you'd call it Uncle Sam. It's just a wooden cutout to use as a photo prop.
We'll be doing that. There'll be all kind of information, historical information that we found that we're gonna have copies for citizens here. I think Kathy Shapansky has provided some historical information that we're going to make some copies of that. So citizens can come here, learn about history, bring their families in. There'll be cake and coffee. That'll be kind of in the morning. As we move on, I have really exciting news this week. The fire museum was damaged in a storm. That's been what, 3 or 4 years ago, Steve?
Yep.
Yeah, and so we kind of really got on top of the insurance and said, before that, we weren't able to do that claim. We were able to get that museum taken care of at no extra cost to the city. We just are tying all of that up this week. And so we will be working with the
Engine company number one.
engine company number one. We had meetings prior to the museum being fixed. And I had some conversation with some of the members. They may be interested. I'd love to have that open and have our old tagger up there. And so, that's not concrete yet. I kind of envision that. A lot of amazing history up there. I think would be just a wonderful piece of that day. And then moving on from there, we want to go down into Mill Creek Park where we'll have music. And we are asking for people to have a baking contest for cherry pies. The state is supposed to be sending us cherries and no cost, sending us cherries for these cherry pie contest. And then we're going to do an ice cream social and we want to call a picnic dinner in the park. Bring your blanket picnic, enjoy music, enjoy your neighbors, come out. And then, as you all know, and I checked with Aberdeen, they are still planning on doing the fireworks. Unless Commander Timmons knows something I don't know. They're still planning on doing their firework display and we can see it right from the boat launch here, the dike, all of that. So you can finish up your event in the park and go over there. And so we're looking forward to celebrating that. Council member Darcy talked a lot about seasonal staffing. And yeah, I had Chris, who's probably been our first one that came on as seasonal. I have to tell you, these guys hit the ground running. They are busting their bottoms and they are getting things done. And he said, gosh, I was shocked because if any of you are on Facebook, you probably saw a week ago, oh, we're not taking care of the cemetery. Look at it, looks like a forest. The grass is up to your knee. Where in fact, it was mowed, weed whacked and everything was done probably a week and a half prior to that. But I swear, that grass, because I know my grass was very, very high within that time. And one of the goals is to take care of that cemetery. I want to reassure citizens. I did apply for a historical grant, spent a lot of hours on that grant. It was disappointing when we didn't get it. I'm not going to stop till we fix that, until we have a new roof, till we have new doors on the bathroom, new windows, a paint job, until that cemetery is what it should be, and signage on it saying Forest Hill Cemetery with the date that it was established. And we do have signs coming for the building and on the fence, and that is being paid for privately. That's not coming out of city fund. But I think if you go up there, you can see the improvements that are happening. The guys just put all fresh gravel in the driveway and behind it, so it wasn't this mucky mess. So I just want to reassure citizens. So if you hear someone saying, well, they're not taking care of, show the positives, because it is being taken care of, and we all know how important it is. There's a lot of history and family up there, and not mine, but I know this town is built on history, family, and people that love it. And so the care of that cemetery is very important. So I just want to share that with all of you here tonight. Festival in the Park is coming up, not until August 23rd, but it's a big event. We had like 35 vendors. We did move the event to August 23rd. It used to be the Sunday after Logger Play Day. What we've learned in the past, since last year, that with people having a tighter budget, not being able to spend the money on 2 days outing, and also we seem on the 23rd, that not the 23rd, but when we used to have it, the weather wasn't always the best, wasn't always real conducive. So it's been moved to August 23rd. If you know anyone who is interested, we're always looking for vendors. Please share that information. Also at our senior luncheons, our 50+ luncheon on Tuesday on June 2nd. Chief Green will be coming out and he's going to do a presentation on personal safety and scams, because we know the older you get, especially a more mature population, they're often targets for being taken advantage of, financial exploitation, that type of thing. So he'll be coming out and speaking at that time. And then on June 9th, Hannah Cleverly from the Department of Great Harbor Emergency Management is going to be talking to our 50+ and anybody else that's interested about preparedness, emergency, and they may even bring some things with it. There'll be more information to come regarding that. So at this time, I'd like to introduce Darren King. Darren, could you please stand up and come up here and introduce yourself?
All right, I'm gonna move right over there because I
Okay,
got some.
perfect. And Darren will speak to you about the Cosmopolis Community Carols.
Hello, everybody. I'm Darren King, like she said. I'm doing, working with the group, the citizens group, Cosmopolis Community Cares. I am a retired, Aberdeen police officer. It's been about a year now. And so when this happened, I'm also a citizen of Cosmopolis. And Aberdeen is now assuming our services. I thought it's a good time to, I know these guys, I've worked with all these guys and my son works for them. And we can really help keep the community safe and do some different things that you don't see in bigger cities and bring the community together a little bit. And so, one of the first things we did is we had the community neighborhood signs, and I don't know if anyone notices very many of them anymore. I didn't realize until I looked, because you just get so used to driving by them that you don't notice them anymore, and they just, they just go right through your head, you don't even know it. And they were pretty dirty. So what we had is we looked for a donator, and the Daniels family in D4 donated some signs for us. So what we did is we put the community into four sections. We have the two hills, and then we split at G Street. We split the two down below the hill sections.
They're like.
And so what we did is we've got a whole bunch of those, and we started this week. We put them up down below downtown, and we got them maybe about half of all of our signs up. We had 29 altogether, and it's just trying to encourage, like Councilman Davis said earlier, it's call. Don't put it on Facebook and or call your neighbor or say, did you see that guy yesterday down the street casing those houses? Call and report it, do all that other communication later. And we have a phone number if people need to call it. And it serves a dual purpose. It's people have a number if they're not familiar with where they're at or something, and they see something happening, they can say what zone they're in, so we can narrow down where the place is if they don't know a street. And also, it's letting people that are coming here to take advantage of our city because we don't have a full-time police department, it's letting them know that we care and that we're vigilant, and it's making them think maybe I should go somewhere else. So we're putting those signs up at no cost to the city. And we want to clean up all the other street signs. I mean, there's signs dirtier than this one here. And we're cleaning those up. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna take all these older signs and we're just gonna reposition them in town. So there's gonna be coverage everywhere in our city, to where if someone's coming here trying to do crime here in our area, that, you know, they're gonna realize that we're looking and you see something, report it. And a couple of things that, on the public safety meeting last night too, and, you had mentioned it earlier when you came in tonight. Like, there's the electric scooters, the dirt bikes, the mini bikes, the e-bikes, okay, so. If it's something that's, you know, public safety needs to be reported right now, report it. The police might not always see it because, you know, they gotta see it happening. But if we can nail down addresses where these guys are like doing their wheelies or riding with little kids on the bikes. If you can get an address and you let us know. We'll work with the police department and we can help, you know, do what we call a knock and talk and have the police go there and talk to them and explain the laws to them and everything, and, we can take some different avenues, so a good exact address would be really good. Graffiti, like recently we had the graffiti at Mill Creek Park, when we talked about, you know, let's get that cleaned up right away, as quick as we can, take a picture of it. Sometimes there's clues, maybe writing styles or signs or clues that, you know, the police can tell who did the graffiti, so take a picture, share it. And we want to get it cleaned up, we want to coordinate so we can get cleaned up. Any vandalism, you want to get it cleaned up as quick as you can, because if people see that no one cares, then they're more amped to do it again and just keep repeating it, and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So let's, you know, report those, get those things done. Another thing that came up in the public safety meeting last night was that, if we have a parking, George Welch is our parking enforcement person, and he does city streets, and did a few, did he say 7?
Yeah.
7?
And he was in today.
Dealt with 7 vehicles in our city since he's come on, which is something we didn't have before. But if it's on public property, that doesn't go under the Aberdeen Police Department. That goes under Bill Cedar with code enforcement,
If it's on
private property.
private property,
Yeah.
correct.
So if it's a junker car in someone's private property, the police officer can't handle that because it's not on the street. But if it's private property, we want to make sure that Bill Cedar knows. And what's the best way for them to report?
And so the best to Bill, if it's
Yeah.
so what I am asking, please send an email to Bill, and his email is bcedor, SIDOR @cosmopoliswall.com. You can .gov, and you can also, I asked anyone reporting to put me on that email. His hours are limited, so if something, you know, we want to make sure it doesn't get missed. So if there are 2 of us, then I always do a follow-up. He's really good now at reporting and giving me, you know, kind of tracking what we're doing here now. And so Bill works Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Monday and Wednesdays are for construction, permitting, that type of thing. Tuesday is code enforcement. You can also call City Hall and ask for Bill Cedar, and we can put him through to his email, his phone. So,
And our Facebook page is Cosmopolis Community Cares. You can see this exact sign on there, when you're looking up the site. And, we encourage you to join. We're gonna put all our stuff on there. It's for Cosmopolis citizens and business people only. We're not letting just anybody on the site. And if people are negative and trash talking and just not giving solutions, and they're just complaining to complain, we're not gonna let them on our site. So, our next time we're gonna put up signs is Tuesday at 10 o'clock. We're gonna meet here outside of City Hall. We're gonna go put some more signs up and try to clean some of the existing street signs. So if anybody wants to come, the more the merrier.
Question there, they call that number, Is there somebody that's gonna answer, or are they gonna leave
Yes,
a
ma'am.
message?
That's the dispatch, non-emergency.
That's
Yeah.
the Aberdeen dispatch,
So-
that's not one of your
No,
precinct
No.
leaders or.
no, we're not,
Section leaders.
we're not dispatching the police or anything. We're just trying to bring the community together. And another thing is it's neighbors helping neighbors.
Right,
If anybody knows of someone that, maybe needs help with their lawn or they're getting harassed or any needs some help, get a hold of, and we're gonna help find someone. We wanna be, good, stewards of the city, and we wanna help not be a cost to the city, and we wanna do some little things that make a difference and help, and can be less of a burden on the city.
And it really will make a difference, and it already is. With Aberdeen, I do have to correct you there, though. We do have a full-time police force here in Aberdeen, 24/7. This and our volunteers, Cosmopolis is where people need to be. I think we're rocking it. There are eyes everywhere.
Yep.
And I've had to make 3 or 4 non-emergency calls, and nobody wants to do that. But I'm like, see it, report it. So I did, and they responded. We had, they showed at the safety meeting, we have a transient person in town. And so my clerk in the office, she's like, this person's coming in and out. We had a little interesting someone using the bathroom that kind of missed the toilet. And then he left, and then he came back and he was checking out the food box. And so Kenzie, who is our deputy clerk, she got up and she's like, what are you doing? And he left, but she was concerned because, it was apparent he was a transient. Just concerned, because he had shared with her that he was looking for his lost child and he couldn't find him. And so Kenzie did call, she wanted me to call, and I said, no, this is what the police have said, this is what you've said, if you see it, you call. So she called, the police came over, had a conversation with him, and they took him to the bus stop. And then we come to find out him.
My understanding is he's on his way back over the mountains.
Yeah, and so they came over, they picked him up, they took him to the bus stop, and so they respond, and we've got the best here going on here, we really do, we have lots of eyes out there, and this is amazing, thank you, again,
Our city.
yeah, again, volunteers in this community.
So quick question.
Yeah.
Thank you for everybody that does this, Community Cares. I am new to being a resident in Cosmopolis. Eyes are everywhere. I do know that. How do Yeah, really, they are. They're everywhere. How do I find out which zone I'm in? Who can I talk
You
to?
can talk to me
Okay,
and we'll talk about
okay,
it.
I'll catch up with
We
you.
also have some stickers that we're selling, they're about this big around,
Okay.
and if you can put them on your cars. So if the police are here and they're looking for something suspicious, you see your car or someone at your car, they know that you belong in this city. And also, you can put them on your house, on your window too.
Okay.
So if someone's poking around your house and they see that, it's just a second reminder that thieves, criminals, they like to take the
Easy.
path of least resistance.
Yeah.
So if they think they're gonna get caught, I mean, you got cameras, advertise your cameras.
Right.
It's like, we're trying to, get everyone's cameras together, so if there's a crime, like there was a post just the other day. Anyone between D and C Street, there was a drunk guy at 1:15 in the morning and he was trying my car or something like that, and it's like, so everyone pull up their cameras and see it, and we're gonna solve stuff. That's
Awesome.
the way it is, just being organized like that.
Awesome.
So, but if anyone has any questions, I'll be here till the end of the meeting.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank
Do
you.
you have any of the stickers with you that you can sell?
I do.
And thank you, I saw you putting up those signs, thank you.
Great, you bet. It went faster than I thought, the first one.
Awesome.
Any other questions for Dylan at this time? Oh, okay. Okay, moving on. New business discussion. This is for public safety action plan for traffic calming measures. Councilman Skinner and Spargo were supposed to present this tonight. I'm not sure what held up Councilman Spargo. This is very unusual for him.
I think the action plan isn't ready and that's why our current Councilman Spark. No, once we delved into it, Mayor, we found that there was a lot of concern throughout the whole town about traffic calming and issues. It was brought up earlier in the tip plan about the sidewalks and the crosswalks and the paintings and the markings. Dundee and Franklin are just two of the many throughout town that once we started looking, we identified there's not stop lines at intersections. These things have went by the wayside because we didn't have the people to maintain them at one point in time. We got to get back into making our streets and our signs, our crosswalks visible for everyone's safety. And so Justin and I are putting an action plan together with what we feel top priority and moving on down because we're not going to get it all accomplished in 2 weeks. It's gonna take time to get all of this taken care of. We had an understanding in the past that if we give the crosswalk paint to the janitors at the schools, they'll go out and take care of the intersections around the schools. Now we talk about the patches and stuff and the work that has to be done at corners of C and D and C and Third, those areas. So now if we go paint them and then we come in with cold patch, we cover over our painting. So we got quite a bit to do to plan this all out and get it moved forward. But I assure you, Mayor, that we are moving forward with the action and taking.
Thank you.
And we've got another meeting scheduled to go farther into it. So we will present to the council.
Okay, with that, it doesn't look like Justin is going to be here, so we have an absent member tonight. Is there a motion to excuse Justin Spargo from tonight's council meeting?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Yeah, Council Darcy will second that.
Any discussion? Okay, thank you. Okay.
So for the new business item, we'll move to the modified agenda. Steve Davis, council member, do you want to speak to the addition of the application for the FEMA regarding the Mill Creek?
Sure.
Okay.
So, in this last winter, we had an inordinate amount of rain in the area, and Grays Harbor was designated as a disaster area with FEMA. And, in trying to come up with funds and trying to come up with solutions for some of our projects, this Mill Creek Drive seems like it's a good fit. It may or may not be funded, but my theory or my thought, and not just mine, but other people's thought was at least apply and see what they say. They may come up and say, they may bring a hydrologist, they may bring an engineer, they may do things to try to even give us some knowledge on what to do. But, and part of it is that, as the mayor knows, with grant writing and things like that, when you develop that muscle and you keep using it, you get better at it. And so for us, we don't really look at a lot of federal things as a rule, but we have a lot of things that are huge in our community that we're gonna be leaning on the feds to try to get some things solved. You know, the mill property happens to be one of them. But so in our thought was, let's apply for a FEMA grant or FEMA help to fix Mill Creek Drive. And it's just you fill out the application, you send it in, they send some people down to look at it with some questions. It's a fairly simple process, but then, you know, it may work, it may not work. So that was what sparked the decision put on the agenda.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do you want to do like?
Yeah, so now we will move to public comments. And we have one person signed in, Maria, actually with FEMA, is here with us tonight. So if you wanted to introduce yourself and tell us why you're here.
Yes, good evening. My name is Maria Figueroa. I am the governmental affairs point of contact for this disaster. I'm here in Gray Harbor and other 4 counties. I am here because the last day to apply for assistance if you were impacted by the December floods is going to be June 10. So people can apply if they already repaired their homes and they might get a reimbursement, so that's important. The number is 800-621-3362, or they can apply online through FEMA.gov. I will be sending you, it's a new, what do you say, a new guide on how to apply step by step, because some people find it difficult to do it online. And we have simplified the applying process, the registration process. So that's one of the products I will be sending you later.
Okay, great.
Periodically, I will keep you informed of what's going on. If they open a disaster assistance center or a disaster outreach team is somewhere, so that people who cannot apply online or choose to be helped in person can go to.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, we're gonna move on to item 11. Oh, I'm sorry. Is there anybody else? Okay, we'll move on to item 11. Thank you very much.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you.
Thank you.
New business, item 1, I do want to say my phone and my email blew up over the weekend. Regarding this ordinance and support of moving this green strip to this ordinance. It was forwarded on to each and every one of the council members. I hope you had time to read the comments. So is there a vote to approve the addition of no parking signs on Bell Drive to the amendment of ordinance number 1369?
Council Darcy will move to approve the addition of Bell Drive to ordinance 1369 to have no parking signs applied. And I would say that goes from the beginning, where the gates are, I guess, to the
Green strip.
yeah, the green space up there, the power lines, all the way down to where the park ends, and then it becomes, I think it's School District of Aberdeen. Yeah, that whole strip area designated as no parking. Yeah.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Discussion.
Oh, discussion, thank you.
When we come to the point of doing this, we will have a designated strip from point A to point B. Because across the intersection of, what's the intersection below Dundee and Franklin? Paisley. So that would be the end
Yeah,
of
yeah, that's where
the south end
Paisley
to the dead end of the,
yeah, whatever, yeah, I think that goes, yeah, cause I think the park property goes all the way to where that chain link fencing starts, and then it becomes, I'm not sure.
at,
Yeah.
I guess I've read the online comments from people. Would there be a possibility of 2 designated sites at the gate for parking? Could that be a possibility or not?
So my thought was, moving forward, we really should look at a parking plan, even if we encroach into the park some, to make a parking lot on that side that isn't on the street, that's actually in the park. There's plenty of room up there. I haven't looked at it. I drove there a couple of times in the last few days to look at it and see. And there are utilities underground. There are reasons not
to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And so for now, I think the best thing is to add to the ordinance.
Yeah.
With the conversation down the road of parking.
yeah, I
Yeah.
think it would even be nice to have even like a bicycle rack, you
Sure.
know, up there, you know, just to kind of make it
Mhm.
more where it looks like it's a real entrance to a park kind of situation. And I think that's something that the Parks Committee could look at, and along with safety too, can look at that,
I guess
moving
if-
forward, there being an actual designated space there. What I've noticed driving up there quite frequently is that I don't really see like cars parking there to go
Into
into
the
the park. It's mostly the people that live on that area. I see a lot of kids bicycling around in there and that kind of thing. But I have noticed that where you leave where people do park. So I noticed that there was somebody doing some landscaping. Well, they decided to park their landscaping trucks over there on the park, on the grass too. And so it kind of just ends up being, it grows,
Right.
when people
Right.
see that
Right.
it's happening, it grows, and then it looks like people can just do whatever kind of what they
And we had a homeless person overnight. there.
yeah, and so, but so I think moving forward that we can create in that entrance that to make it look more like having something moving forward. I think that'd be good, yeah.
It is ordinance wise, part of the park designated as no parking, just not signage that, or is there signage?
There is no signage, the only signage that is up there is no dumping signs are up there, and even those are a bit,
There used to be
Ragtag,
No
yeah.
parking signs up.
yeah.
They're gone,
Mhm.
but. When you get into the code and the ordinance and stuff like that, you really do have to have, Councilmember Darcy pointed out, an and and a
Mhm.
beginning and an end, so.
Yeah, that's
that
the way
needs
the
to be-
ordinance, reads.
Yeah, it needs to be
Yeah.
in there.
In the language.
Yeah, in the language, it's like one sentence where it covers from the north end to the south end of Bell Drive and, ending kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then that also applies to, cross pollinates with the time frame that you're allowed at parks too. There's also an ordinance that's around, parking at the park. There is no overnight parking at the park
Mhm,
itself
mhm.
too. So when we do designate a little parking spot there, that could be added to that ordinance as
Mhm.
being that area has signage saying, no parking, after 10 o'clock, I believe is what it is. I think it's from 8 to 10 you can, and there's no overnight parking and
Yeah.
all that, yeah. So
Right.
there's two, there would be the time frame and then the parking ordinances around that.
There's a can of worms. Do we designate Highland parking lot as a parking place for people to go into Makarenko Park?
I don't see a reason why not. It's only a block away. I mean, it can be, there's no reason people can't use it to park there and then walk.
There would be an alternative.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all I'm trying to get
Yeah,
at is
because there's plenty of
an
parking
alternative.
spaces
Yes,
there.
it's quite, you gotta walk down or up either one to get
Right,
to Glencoe or down to Paisley to get around over to that gate.
right.
There's not a trail
The
from,
trail.
is there a trail between Highland and your,
Um,
the cul-de-sac below you?
Next to us and
Oh, really?
there's a trail
Oh,
right in
Yeah,
between there.
Oh.
Over to-
Oh,
Not between our house and that, but there's one house over and then the trail
Oh,
and another house.
Between Cass-
Next to Bill.
I would never known that.
yeah, I had no
Oh,
idea.
No,
Yeah,
I guess that is, again,
maybe that could be enhanced and looked at as.
I've said that that's kind of a private gate into the park or a
Right.
convenient park
Right.
gate into the park for that Highland area.
Right.
You know, and I think that's probably what it was put in originally
Right.
for. But if someone says, I wanna go enjoy your park, okay, you can.
Right.
And you can't park up there for whatever reason, then maybe they could park at Highland in that, and,
Oh, yeah.
we could put a sign that says it's
Oh, yeah.
Highland.
Drive to Stanford Drive. There's a big parking lot there.
Sure,
Yeah.
yeah, you're right, yes, yeah.
I do want to add, I know parking was limited before when there was dumping up that kind of got moved out to the parking lot. That's not the case anymore. And all of you are well that Aberdeen is using it as a staging station right now where they're redoing the water tank. And I called Aberdeen, had a conversation. We did take some gravel up there, but it needs more gravel. And they said that that company, once they're done, they will come in and gravel that whole parking lot. That's at no cost to the city. So there really is a substantial amount of parking on Stanford. And then, there was a concern that was brought forward, like, oh, the school buses, I
Right.
did check. There was only 3 meets. They were in August. I'm working with the school district where the buses can drop off and go back and pick up the the athletes. And then, there's quite a bit of parking in that parking lot. And as you said, they could use Highland Park too
Right,
and
right.
Parkdale.
Yeah.
And we could put things out, event parking trail that way.
It was brought up at a previous meeting by a resident about a sign that said school buses park.
Yeah, that was the designation when they started using it for cross-country because parking, there's still limited parking, obviously,
So
but,
I don't think there's a sign
No.
that put sawhorses.
Oh,
No,
yeah,
there was a sign there.
Designated for
the school bus that goes around.
yeah, there is, it says school bus turn that way. That is a new sign that they have put up. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's bus turn.
Oh, okay.
It's a turn, yeah, it's about this big that they have recently just
Just
added.
working here.
Yeah, no parking, no bus parking sign. Yeah, it's just the bus turn telling, I guess, new bus drivers or whatever the
Bus
route.
drivers would come up on that end,
Uh,
drop the kids off. I remember them parking along that strip. While during the event, some of them left, went and did other things and came back, but it was only a few days a year.
That's,
Three
yeah,
days.
three
Yeah.
events,
Yeah.
what we're holding up there, so I don't see where it's.
Yeah, now that the
Idea
parking
of
lot is
event
still-
Parking, we could put
Yeah.
that over by Highland Park
Yeah.
with kind of like walking trails this way.
Sure,
Good
sure,
idea.
something along.
Very good idea.
Something,
Yeah.
okay, well, I think
Okay.
call for question, ready to vote?
Jeremy, did you have anything?
No, nothing here.
Oh, just want to make sure. Yeah.
Okay,
Thank
thank
you.
you. So
Vote.
is there a,
We did this.
Did a motion in a
Okay.
second.
so is, all those in favor?
Aye,
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so the motion passed. We will be adding it and putting stop signs up there.
And the ordinance will come back in the June meeting for approval.
no
Oh, yeah.
parking signs.
Yeah. Okay, moving on, to item 2, vote to approve the transportation improvement plan. Is there a motion to approve the transportation improvement plan 2026 that was presented tonight by Dr. Jeff Borden?
So move.
Is there a second?
I second it.
Any
Councilman
discussion?
Skinner.
Thank you. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye,
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you, Jeremy. Motion passes. At this time, public comments?
We have the amendment. The agenda for the last time.
oh, yeah, to vote on, his,
Oh, thank you.
the FEMA plan.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna let you do that.
Okay, so,
Motion.
So,
do we have a motion to vote for the application to FEMA to be submitted?
So move.
I second it.
Is there any discussion?
I think my only thing is to bring forward to see what the application, looks like and all that whole thing. If it looks like it's,
Well,
yeah,
so what I would like to propose, I'm not willing to, I don't want to just shove this off onto somebody else. I'm willing to bird dog to help it out. I'm working with Grace Harbor Emergency Management to be able to fine tune and make it, it is the 10th is the drop dead date to have the
Right.
application in.
yeah, maybe you can look at the application and bring it forward, maybe, to let us see how that looks and everything.
I can certainly,
Yeah,
do that.
Yeah.
The question is that,
June 10th is,
we won't.
the
have a
the due
meeting.
Yeah,
date is prior to the next council
but yeah, we
meeting.
can always maybe get an email or something, just so we can kind of
I
take a
would
look at it.
happily,
Yeah,
I will
that would
happily
be
email
good,
you, the
Yeah.
particulars.
just so we can kind of have a
And
look
then-
at
and
it.
Yeah, we can have a special meeting.
Yeah, we could have a special meeting around.
If we need to,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. So,
Okay, I can help share the communications over email, so we don't,
Okay.
have a
Oh, yeah.
quorum
yeah, cool.
created
Yeah, that
there.
sounds good,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay, so, do we have a vote?
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes.
Okay.
Public comment.
Public comments at this time. Please state your first name. You have 3 minutes. Remember, all comments should be respectful. Are there any public comments at this time?
We don't have anybody signed up for public comment, nor do we have anybody online with their hands raised.
Okay, thank you. So council comments at this time? Hearing none, is there a motion to adjourn?
Council comments.
Oh.
Liz, actually.
Yeah.
So, I'll shorten this up a little bit, but first off, I wanted to poke a little bit of fun at, that retired police officer Darren King. That we do, in fact, like the mayor stated, we do have a full-time police department. And that's working very, very well for the city of Gauzy. Aberdeen has, their police department is very solution oriented. They've mentioned a transient here. They actually have funds available where they can help that guy get to where he needed to go. And things like that. So,
You're preaching to the choir, cause I know, cause I work there.
well, I know, but not everybody else does. So I did. So I want to make sure that they understand it.
Right, yeah, I don't mean to say that.
This partnership, we have a full-time police department and the partnership is working in my perspective and many other people's very well. They go out of their way to take care of this as a cause. They've came over and taken accident reports that happened in Aberdeen for people that were working and just a plethora of things. So I appreciate the effort from the police department. Thank you. One of the things I have a question about is our minutes. And when we do have public comment, we've changed the policy at some point where citizens' names aren't on the minutes. It says a citizen said this or a citizen reported that. And I'd like us to just consider, we don't have to do it tonight, obviously, but I'd like to consider that for future. I'd like to see citizens' names on the minutes. I feel like it's a disservice to somebody that might come speak. If somebody doesn't want to speak, they can certainly ask to be anonymous, but they're on a video anyway that's being recorded. So you got that whole thing. So I just want you to think about it. That's all I'd like to put it out there. The 2006 comprehensive plan that we approved a few meetings back, they talked about that after it was approved, that it would be updated. And I heard tonight that it has been. Is that correct?
No. So the comprehensive plan was adopted and it is a live working document. The planning commission will now start moving through the comprehensive plan from the very beginning. We have several things happening within the comprehensive plan that are exciting. We just completed, as council member Skinner can say, our stormwater comprehensive plan. And we will be getting that final report. So they will be actually completing that piece that will go into our comprehensive plan. Because our planning commission, they're doing a great job, but there are pieces that they are not qualified for. And a good comprehensive plan has to come from outside agencies, such as our critical areas. The Department of Commerce is working, we got the PUG grant, that piece, the critical areas will be completed. That will be added to the comprehensive plan. This building, this is one capital improvement, this facility. That will be added to the comprehensive plan. The other, they're just different, please. It's a live working document. Because we are a smaller city, we do not have to have, what is it called?
For partial planning.
We're a partial planning committee, so it is never going to be completed. The comprehensive plan, a good comprehensive plan, should never be completed. It's a live working document.
I think potentially where the question is coming from is if there is an ordinance to back this, it just hasn't been presented.
Well,
yet.
my question was, and I heard earlier tonight that it had been updated with newer verbiage, and that's what I was just curious, had that been done? So it isn't about being completed, and I understand it's a live document moving. My question was simply, the updates the planning commission had been working on, have those been added to that comp plan? Has it been updated since it was voted on?
Not currently.
Okay.
We have our meetings, and everyone is welcome to come to the planning committee. As I said, we will be starting chapter 1. They've been going through doing a lot of grammatical things because it was very, very, very old. And there's a lot of things like Wellhauser, So there's a lot of grammatical things. So we're going to be, as we work together, working on cleaning it up and updating it as we go. Key pieces will be added to it.
This tip plan that we just voted on is part of that. and that is an update that has been completed at such and such a date.
Yeah.
So, and I guess to me, that would be something that we could write down, put down in paper that we move forward with this part of the plan. Now we got more steps to take, and each time a step is accomplished, we then
Cross it off the
update
list.
it and mark
Cross
it
it
as a
off
new
the list.
date of the plan.
But always just remember, it's a working
Oh, yeah.
document.
If
The next thing on my list, earlier, Dr. Jeff Borden had presented in a workshop, the tip plan that, Councilmember Skinner just pointed out. And I wanted to, again, thank the planning commission. People online didn't get to hear it as yet, but I want to thank the planning commission for their heroic effort on getting this thing done. They did it in a tight time frame and hit the deadline and got it turned in. And I wanted people to understand that it did take some serious effort to get that done. So thank you again to the planning commission. I also wanted to pay a compliment to the administration with their hiring. Our public works lead, I've been surprised at how much one person could get done. And I'm serious.
Yeah.
I was impressed. And so I'm hoping that now that we have more hands, that he gets a little bit of can stand back and be a little bit more of a lead and watch and help and grow, but I'm really excited for the hiring. Our new clerk it's nice to have a trained professional in that position. And then the other things I had is I did send the mayor earlier in the month, I sent a list of items that I wanted to meet with the mayor on, and I haven't been able to do that as yet. And so I wanted to just confirm that the council had seen the list, and these are things that I do expect to have a meeting with the mayor on soon.
Yeah, I
And
read it.
would appreciate facilitating that. And then we, in our utilities in town, as the mayor mentioned, there's fiber coming through here going to Westport. And there are utility fees and utility things with that, and she is, paying attention to that. One of the things I do notice is around the town, there's a lot of utility lines, a lot of phone lines in particular that are dropped. They're hanging off. They might be old cable lines, they might be old phone lines, but there are a lot of them in our community. And like this stretch in front of Warehouser down here in particular, I mean, it is a safety hazard. And so I wanted to let Public Works know maybe to look into those.
And we'll call the utility company. Public Works wouldn't be doing that. We would call the Public Work.
They were
And-
one grabbing the wrong one.
Yeah, they would not be
They're
doing.
not, yeah.
And,
qualified.
and so.
Can we call the
council-
PUD first and
Yes.
have them come check it out?
Yeah, if you have a concern, please report that you see one down, take a picture, send it in, we will call. And as to your sharing, that email that you sent me was answered and sent to every council member.
Yep.
And would address some of the questions. I will meet with you at this time. I don't have all the answers to that, and when I do, I will have a meeting with you. And that's a discussion that you can have with me, not in a council meeting.
Well, my point is that I've been on the council for a while. And I had a list of 22 items that I wanted to discuss, and access hasn't been as open as I would hope. And so my point is, I really want to be part of the solution with some of these items, and I would appreciate meeting relatively soon.
Well, thank you. Is there a motion to adjourn this meeting?
And you got any more, you got
Nope. all good.
Anything?
Nope, I-
Jeremy? Jeremy's sleeping.
He's still there. He just
Yeah,
hasn't
he's still
unmuted
there.
himself
I
yet.
No,
think
not
it's just-
sleeping, just audio cut off. It didn't sound like you said my name.
Yeah, I think you're just pondering right now.
Yeah, I think we did.
We were
Do you have
making
any other
sure you didn't
comments?
have anything.
Nothing. I make a motion that we adjourn the meeting.
Council Darkey seconds that.
Thank you for
Thank
your
you.
time. Thank you, everyone, for your efforts and so the meeting is adjourned at 8:18.
Thank you, thank you.
Got one. Thank you.
We got workshop ended.
Yeah, that's right.